You are on, Connie.
I thought you were going to do your music like before. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Wellness Wednesdays with Nurse Connie. Um, Last week we talked about perimenopausal, and this week we're going to talk about cardiovascular health, protecting your heart. Protecting your heart in midlife, it requires focus, um, regular exercise, nutritious eating, and a routine health tracking. So uh, there should be key lifestyle adjustments that should be prioritized and core lifestyle habits. For example, um, you need to move more. Folks need to exercise. They need to get out and walk. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise or aerobic activity, or 75 minutes of like vigorous, intense, strenuous activity each week. You need to combine that with strength training, lifting weights, resistance training, and bands. Resistance bands are helpful as well. Depending on how you operate in the mornings are best for me. Some people like to work out before work. Some people like to work out after work. I'm a morning person. Uh, I get up, it's the first thing I do after brushing my teeth and doing my morning meditation. I get my workout in on a regular basis on my days off, and it helps me to like set the tone for the day. Another key lifestyle habit for cardiovascular health, your diet. You have to eat well. Focus on whole foods, your fruits, your vegetables, whole grains, increasing that fiber in your diet, um, your green leafy vegetables, your kales, your broccoli, your collard greens, spinach, things of that nature. Those types of fruits will not only help your cardiovascular, but it would also help your digestive tract to keep everything flowing and moving nicely. Um, a Another core lifestyle factor that folks really should consider, and I don't know that a lot of people think about this, is your sleep. For midlife, our age, believe it or not, anywhere between like 45 and 55, heading towards your 60s, you should be averaging 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Um, if you need to do mindfulness or yoga or certain activities to like de stress and wind down to help you have peaceful, uninterrupted sleeps at night, is very, very important. Your sleep. Um, Stress, another factor. You have to manage your stress in your life. Say no to things that don't uplift your energy, and feel like it's holding you back in a mental and physical capacity. Um, be it, relationships, finances. Um, you have to be able to manage those stress factors. Um, and another key core lifestyle change if you are a smoker. If you are a smoker, you have to taper it down or just outright quit. You need to quit smoking, and vaping for that matter. Vaping is also linked to certain cardiovascular and respiratory um, diseases. Um, Nicotine is what they call a vasoconstrictor. So every time you take a pull on that cigarette or inhale on that vape, your vascular system clamps down. It goes just like this. The vascular veins and your arteries might be open. As soon as you take that inhale, they clamp right down, which leads to poor circulation. You can have vascular buildup, um, inflammation, blockages, plaque buildup, and poor perfusion. So the blood is not flowing like it should through your veins and your arteries because it's clamped down from nicotine or years and years of smoking. That is sometimes why a lot of people that smoke, their hands are cold, their fingers, the tips of their fingers feel numb, and they often complain of pain sometimes in their fingers or their toes. It's because of poor perfusion. Um, so those factors, exercising, moving more, getting that weight training in, um, your diet, eating well, uh, and sleep. I think a lot of people do not realize how important it is to get that sleep in, um, limiting the stress. Granted, life will take its course. You have responsibilities, work, uh, bills to pay, children to take care of, families a family that needs you. So to minimize it is so important. You have to be very intentional about incorporating these factors and basically prioritizing yourself. Um, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I'll get back to you after, my workout, or I'll call you later after I get this 1 hour in at the gym. It helps mentally. It helps physically. It's helping your cardiovascular. It's just finding time for yourself, that 1 hour a day, or even 30, 45 minutes, whatever time you could pull away, and be intentional about making time for yourself is so important. It will decrease your stress, decrease burnout, um, anxiety, depression. It just helps you on so many levels. Another core, lifestyle habit folks should really, if you can find the time. I know we have a lot of technology out now and different tracking systems, but if you can track your numbers or keep tabs, say, on your blood pressure, it's very important also, cardiovascular wise, to maintain a blood pressure of less than 120 over 80 is ideal. I know, according to the American Heart Association, those numbers have actually dropped as far as being diagnosed with high blood pressure. It's actually closer to 110 and 117. But realistically, for most folks, if you can have a blood pressure of 120, 122, 118. You don't have to be at 110. Um, that is the best thing for you, because having high blood pressure obviously leads to heart disease and stroke, which affects your brain. Um, but you have to maintain, you have to, keep these numbers tracked. Either you can do it on a phone. They have, the watches now that track. They have, you could do paper tracking if you're old school and you want to just keep a log or notebook. Is very important. And I want to talk a little bit about blood pressure and, say, insulin levels. Like, if you're diabetic and you are working out, every time that you breathe in and you're working out and your heart rate's, say, 100, 120 beats per minute, and you're getting a nice intense workout, you're building up a sweat, you're panting, that affects your insulin levels, um, and decreases your inflammation. So when the heart's pumping really hard and the blood's flowing and it's coming out the pulmonary arteries and everything's moving in the cardiovascular system, I don't want to get too technical, but every time as you're breathing, that's helping to control your glucose levels and your insulin levels. So cardiovascular is so important to just maintaining your body all around. It affects your kidneys. A strong heart and even a weak heart will affect your kidneys. A strong heart will affect your lungs. So cardiovascular health is just so important. They all work together: the heart, the lungs, the kidneys. And basically, if you can ward off inflammation in your body, and through exercise and diet, keep moving and being mindful of what you put into your body, you are going to ward off diabetes and some other chronic illnesses. Granted, as long as you don't have family history or hereditary risk factors, like, say, your mother, your father, your grandmother, and probably two other siblings all have heart disease, that puts you at a higher risk for chronic heart disease, um, high blood pressure, stroke. So this information is really for folks that have family history as well as no family history. It's just important because they all work together. So you want to avoid the tobacco, the smoking, get that sleep in, um, be intentional about what you're putting into your body, track those numbers, know your blood pressure numbers, know your cholesterol numbers, your LDH and your HDLs, and uh, know your glucose levels, your blood glucose levels, uh, and managing your weight. So, along with uh, diet, exercise, and stress reduction, and getting enough sleep, you need to be conscientious of your weight. Keep a healthy body mass index and watch for the midlife abdominal fat that is growing in that midsection, your abdominal area. Usually that's your cortisol levels are elevated, and um, if your cortisol levels are high, you're probably stressed. That means your body's in a stress and an inflammatory state. So be mindful of abdominal fat changes where you're getting a pouch. Cut back on your salt and alcohol, and you know those social what we can say social habits that we have. Be mindful, either eliminate them or be intentional about, want to know what, I'm only going to have one drink tonight. Don't indulge on a regular basis where you're starting to see, say, your scrubs are fitting different, or you've moved a notch on your belt. um, so this week, any questions, please tap in. um, we always welcome any insight, questions, your opinions. um, Again, this is the PA Network. I am Nurse Connie, and this is our Wellness Wednesday. Please subscribe, leave a comment. Again, at the PA Empowerment Network. We're also available for taking calls at 570-664-0574. Thank you, and be well.
Hey, Nurse Connie, we got a question out here for you. Can you hear me, Nurse Connie?
Oh, hi. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, you said exercise and nutrition, and how about if you're let's say 65 and older, and you really can't get out there to do that exercise that you want, and then you're on medication on top of that. What do you tell a person like that to do?
Well, depending on what medications you're on, if they're psych medications, blood pressure medications, um, obviously speak with your primary care provider. That could be your nurse practitioner, that could be your physician, and tell them that you're interested in having a workout plan. You would like to figure out some activities to move a little more. But my recommendation, and in my experience, uh, age does not matter. There are folks at the gym in their 80s that are there 5, 6, 7 days a week working out. Consistency is the key. There's like no magic pill you know, for working out and having a healthy lifestyle. Is just being consistent, showing up every day for yourself. I always say, I show up for my family, I show up at work, I show up for my kids, I show up for my husband, and we have to be conscious and make time and show up for ourselves. So as long as you get the green light, you have to be intentional and just make time. So
So you
65,
you
70,
also
75, just do it.
you also was talking about maybe losing a few pounds, right? Now I noticed they got all these commercials out now about the Zepbound and their
Hmm.
the atropine injections. What do you think about that for
Um,
losing weight?
I'm not well experienced in that. However, from what I've seen, I know Ozempic is like the originator of it, and they are called GLP-1s, GL peptides. And they originally started out for diabetic patients to help with insulin resistance, and they help with weight loss. And then it recently got approved for FDA approved for weight loss. Um, and they work. I mean, they work. My recommendation would be to do it hand in hand. Don't solely rely on the GLP-1, the Ozempic, or the Zepbound. I think there's another one, Monjuro. There's a bunch of different labels out. Do your research. Um, I work with a number of people that are on it. You will see results from it, but it depends on how you want to lose weight. Do you want to lose weight fast and have your skin sagging? Or do you want to lose weight in a gradual or a more moderate, gradual way where the weight is tapering down and you have to be mindful of maintaining your protein while you're losing weight? So, those GLP-1s, a lot of folks will drop the weight quick, their skin is saggy, and they have lost protein. They've lost fat, but they have lost protein as well. So it's very important to maintain your protein. And ways of doing that is obviously through your diet and resistance training, weightlifting, pumping that iron. So my recommendation would be, if you're going to do it, do it. Don't solely rely on that. You want to maintain your protein and your muscle mass while you're doing it, so that you don't look, thinned out or drawed out, where people are like, oh my God, you're losing weight. But the back of
Mm.
their head, like, oh, you look sick. Or they can't tell if you're sick or you're just losing weight. Because I've seen that too, where it's very startling. You see the drastic weight loss is so fast, but the muscle mass isn't there. You don't see the toning of it. So it depends on how you want to lose it.
So what are some of the side effects of utilizing those what do you call anthropine injections? That's what's the side effects of them?
Um, from what I understand, and from research, I understand that you can have gastric issues. Some people suffer from nausea. Some people have constipation, because basically what it does, it's like a switch that shuts off in the brain, and it kind of slows everything down. It suppresses your diet and those urges and those cravings. So obviously it's slowing things down in the brain, and the brain controls everything. So your motility in your gastric tract is going to slow down as well. So I think some of the side effects are constipation, nausea. Um, I think they can have, those are like the two big ones that come to mind. So, if you're going to do it, you have to be mindful of what you're eating when you're taking the GLP-1s. You have to increase, once again, your fiber, your whole grains, and water. Your water intake is very important, just to keep your motility and everything moving through the GI tract. So,
Oh, how much water should a person drink on average?
on average, I think there's a formula for it. Depending on your current weight in kilograms, I think you multiply it times, I think it's 3.2. And then that number tells you exactly how many liters of water you should
Mm.
intake on a daily basis. But for everyone, it's a different amount. Like, I can drink a gallon of water a day based on my height and weight, and it would be different for you or someone else. So there's a formula for it, and initially, you're gonna go to the bathroom a lot, and a lot of people don't like to drink water because they feel like, oh, I'm constantly peeing, and I have to go to the bathroom, and they don't want to stop doing whatever they're doing to go do that. But over time, what happens is you train your bladder. So I can drink a gallon a day, and when I first started doing it, I was going to the bathroom probably like every hour. Every hour I have to go to the bathroom and void. But after time, you train your bladder, and your bladder can get used to holding a certain number of ounces, and it would be 2, 3, 4 hours. I could drink probably a half a gallon and won't go to the bathroom for like 3, 4 hours. So it depends. Um, but over time, once you continue and you stay on that water hydration trend, and you train your bladder, so it's not so annoying or so much of a nuisance going to the bathroom so often.
Well,
Yeah.
for men, it may be just slightly a little different because they have the prostate. So it's not just the bladder that's involved with them urinating. So if you're getting up 3 and 4 times at night, is that a problem?
Well, if you have prostate issues, like I think it's BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia, where the actual prostate is enlarged, and the prostate for men actually sits right behind the bladder. So, yes, it will affect them at night if they're drinking a lot of water and they have an enlarged prostate. Um, that that can most definitely happen. So, but I would not drink water because of that. So there are medications out there for BPH and Flomax and different other drugs that help expand the urethra so that you can void and the water can urine can come out as it should. Um, but
Well,
again,
does water help increase or your blood flow? What's good for your blood flow to keep your blood moving, keep you, keep those vessels open?
um, hydration helps because you don't want to be dehydrated. Uh, Again, movement, exercise. Exercise is key. Uh, per, Perfusion, cardiovascular health. That's why the heart is so important that you have a healthy blood pressure and your diet is healthy, and you're moving and you're not doing things to your cardiovascular system that would inhibit blood flow, like smoking. Smoking is going to inhibit blood going through the veins and arteries because nicotine is a vasoconstrictor. So when you inhale, it's going to clamp down. So if it's too tight, blood's not going to flow through the arteries and the veins like it should. You know, you certain lifestyles or hereditary issues, you'll have plaque buildup, and those blockages, plaque buildup can lead to blockages, and that will affect blood flow. So it's all what you put in your body. It's all warding off inflammation and setting that body into an inflammatory response where it's always in a state of inflammation and stress, and so your system can't work as it should. So if you can minimize the inflammation through diet, exercise, and clear, healthy habits and lifestyle changes, we'll have longevity.
Just want to ask two more questions.
Sure.
So you talk about hydration. How does a person know when they're dehydrated?
Oh, you dehydration will lead to fatigue, headaches. You're just tired. You can also, if you're not hydrating enough, you're clogged. Your brain is cloudy. Your thought process, everything is kind of slowed down. If you're not hydrated enough, you're not going to the bathroom and voiding, like urinating multiple times a day. Your urine is dark. It could be like as dark as Coca-Cola. I've seen urine like Coca-Cola, look like iced tea, um, and it should be a clear yellow color. Um, Also, what they call skin turgor. You can really see it in like elderly patients with thin skin. Their skin is, if you do this, it tense. Like I'm not. You see how my skin just popped back like that? I'm hydrated pretty well. If you're not, it will just sit up like that. If I was to let it go, it would still sit up, and that's called tenting. And those are signs of dehydration. You're like severely dehydrated if your skin's tinting. Other ways of dehydration, your tongue. If you stick your tongue out and it's dry and it's cracking, dehydration. You know, you can always tell from your skin and again, your urine, the mucosa, if it's dry in your mouth, the cracking in your tongue. Yep.
All right. Thank
Always
you very much.
tired.
Thank you very much, Nurse. You answered a couple of good questions that I had. I wanted to hear, wanted to
Okay.
get a little more knowledge about. So, whenever you're ready to conclude, it's up to you.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. This is this week's episode, heart health in midlife. And we're going to see you next week. Have a good evening. It's Wellness Wednesday, again, with Nurse Connie. Have a good evening.